Welcome to Michigan's World War I Centennial News Report for August 2016. World War I Centennial, Strong Foundations, New Possibilities in Chelsea, Michigan. During this program, we're going to take a look at Chelsea, Michigan's District Library, which has a collection of World War I artifacts, and also the opening of the walking tour, which has avenue banners and large building banners in downtown Chelsea. One century ago, August 1916. On August 2, 1916, the Italian battleship Leonardo da Vinci was sunk because of a magazine explosion on August 2nd. Loss of 248 officers and enlisted men. The Italians blamed Austro-Hungarian saboteurs for her loss, but it may have been accidental. On August 3, 1916, Roger Casement, formerly known as Sir Roger Casement, and shortly before his execution for treason, was stripped of his knighthood and other honors. He was a British diplomat of Irish extraction. During the World War, he gained German military aid for the 1916 Easter Rising and sought to gain Irish independence. At Casement's highly publicized trial for treason, the prosecution was having trouble arguing its case. Casement's crimes had been carried out in Germany, and the Treason Act of 1351 seemed to apply only to activities carried out on English or British soil. A closer reading of the Act allowed the broader interpretation. The court decided that a comma should be read in the unpunctuated Norman French text, crucially altering a sense so that in the realm or elsewhere referred to where acts were done, not just to where the king's enemies may be. Afterward, Casement wrote that he was to be hanged on a comma. August 6, 1916, the Sixth Battle of the Isonzo, also known as the Battle of Gorizia, was the most successful Italian offensive along the Isonzo River during the First World War. On the evening of August 18, 1916, the British Grand Fleet put to sea in response to a message deciphered that indicated the German High Seas Fleet would be leaving harbor that night. The German objective was to bomb the town of Sutherland the following day, based on extensive reconnaissance conducted by Zeppelins and submarines. Part of the German plan was to draw British ships through a series of submarine ambushes. 2 British cruisers were ambushed by German submarines and sunk on August 19, 1916, HMS Nottingham and HMS Falmouth. On August 28, 1916, Italy declares war on Germany. August 29, 1916, Field Marshal Paul von Hindenburg succeeds General von Falkenhayn as Chief of the German General Staff for the field armies, with Erich Ludendorff as Chief Quartermaster General. The World War I Centennial, Strong Foundations, New Possibilities. More than 100 years ago, America was gripped in the midst of World War I. It affected troops overseas and families back home in communities across the country, including those in the southeast Michigan town of Chelsea in Washtenaw County. As part of a continuing effort to chronicle the city of Chelsea's history, the Chelsea District Library, River Gallery have curated World War I era photographs, letters, stories, and artifacts from local residents. A curated selection of the photographs will be exhibited in an outdoor art installation in a large formatted banners, which will be hung throughout downtown Chelsea, featuring local World War I historical photographs. At the Chelsea District Library, World War I artifacts will be on display. Many of the objects on display have been contributed by area residents, and some objects belong to individuals depicted in our banners. The collection includes a sword, helmet, gas mask, medals, and more. A message sculpture will be placed in the lobby of the Chelsea District Library. Tags, markers, and stamps will be available so that community members can share their thoughts and feelings about the World War I exhibit. This sculpture will be gifted to the Chelsea American Legion, Chapter 31. The public unveiling and ribbon-cutting ceremony took place Saturday, July 30th, just after 11 a.m. at the Chelsea District Library.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. On behalf of a truly proud city, it is my distinct privilege to join our colleagues here at the Chelsea District Library.
Here today, along with my stalwart friend and business partner, Patty. I came here, I'm going to just share a brief story because it has everything to do with this exhibit. I came here in 2003 on my...
Ready?
All right.
The World War I Centennial, Strong Foundations, New Possibilities in Chelsea, Michigan is scheduled to end November 11th, 2016. At the Chelsea District Library, on the first and second floors, are World War I artifacts loaned by local families. In the pictures you can see some of the artifacts that are on display. In the lobby of the Chelsea District Library on July 30th, during the ribbon-cutting ceremony, they had a number of exhibits. Detroit's own Polar Bear Memorial Association from Michigan's Military and Space Heroes Museum in Frankenmuth had a display of the North Russian Expeditionary Force. These were American soldiers, mostly from Michigan, who were sent to Archangel and fought until the spring of 1919 in Russia. Also displaying artifacts was Michigan's Military Heritage Museum, which had a large collection of Washtenaw County-related World War I uniforms and other militaria. The museum will be located in Grass Lake and should open shortly. Also in the library lobby was a VFW Buddy program with VFW Post 4076 from Chelsea, Michigan. In the city of Chelsea along Main Street, from the 94 freeway through downtown to Dewey Street, are avenue banners. This avenue banner is of Bill Bell from the 13th Regiment of Engineers in France. This banner is from Julius Eisel at Camp Custer. He's in the front row center. This banner is from Bill Bell's collection, and it's a crashed French Spad. This banner is of a poem written by Edward Gaunt of the 328th Field Artillery. This banner is of Decker Miles holding a Springfield rifle in front of a truck. This banner is of Edwin Gaunt from the 328th Field Artillery in his barracks reading a letter. This banner is of Ross Stofflet with his football team. Ross was from Ann Arbor, Michigan and serves in the 85th Division. This banner is of George Lindauer from the 32nd Division driving a supply wagon. This avenue banner is of Ross Stofflet of the 32nd Division. This avenue banner is of Lieutenant James S. Taylor, Texas National Guard. He's in the front row, the very left. After the war, he became a captain in the Texas National Guard. These avenue banners are from Bill Bell, 13th Regiment of Engineers, and show Base Hospital 16 and aerial view, and also a damaged French Spad. These avenue banners are of Edwin Gaunt, pre-enlistment, 328th Field Artillery Regiment, and his bride-to-be, Louise Ives. This avenue banner is of Edwin Gaunt, 328th Field Artillery, once he received his Army uniform. This avenue banner is of Ross Stofflet wearing his Army football uniform. He played for the 85th Custer Division. This avenue banner is of downtown Chelsea on May 30th, 1917, which is known as Decoration Day. Today we call it Memorial Day. This avenue banner is of the University of Michigan Student Army Training Corps, which trains young men to become mechanics and telecommunications specialists. This avenue banner is from Bill Bell, 13th Regiment of Engineers. It shows American and French soldiers underneath the flags of each country. This avenue banner is of Walter Schrader. He was born in Dundee, Michigan, enlisted in Toledo, Ohio, was on the medical staff at Camp Greenleaf, Georgia. He married Mary Edith Kivett, and they eventually moved to Chelsea, Michigan. This Avenue banner was submitted by Dr. Fay Palmer. It shows General Pershing, an unknown French officer, and General William Hahn, commander of the 32nd Division, on the right. Dr. Palmer became a dentist after the war and practiced in Chelsea, Michigan. On the walls of Chelsea Lanes Bowling Alley are two photos. The first is the Chelsea's American Red Cross chapter. The second is of Harold Hallier, served as captain and then promoted to major, 108th Heavy Field Artillery, 28th Division. He was awarded the Belgium Croix de Guerre. At the Chelsea District Library is Herbert J. McCoon, son of Hugh and Millie McCoon of Chelsea. He served as a corporal in the 67th Company, 5th Marine Corps, 2nd Division. He was killed at the Battle of Champagne in France, October 4, 1918. The Chelsea American Legion Post 31 was named in his honor. At the original post office, Frank O'Connor served as a private first class, Battery D, 328th Field Artillery. Frank was a farmer in Wayne County and later decided to make Chelsea his home. At Merco's Furniture and Carpet 1, Benjamin Bileski served with Battery A, 330th Field Artillery. He lived in Detroit and worked at Ford Motor Company. His great-granddaughter provided this picture. On the site of Smokehouse 52 Barbecue, Edwin Gaunt served as a private in a supply company for the 328th Field Artillery, working with communications and moving supplies. His unit served on the front only 10 days, then the armistice was signed. After the war, Edwin married Louise Ives of Chelsea. Edwin is pictured here with family and friends. On the side of Chelsea Print and Graphics, Bill Bell served with the 13th Engineers Regiment and was stationed in France from 1918 to 1919. While in France, he was stationed by Verdun. Pictured here are some of the soldiers of his regiment with their dog and her puppies. On the side of Zozo's Cafe and Coffee Bar is a picture of George Conrad Hafner. He served as a private in the 42nd Division and fought in the Saint Mihiel Offensive and also the Meuse-Argonne Offensive. George was born in Chelsea in 1887. On the side of La Maison, George Alfred Lindauer served as a private in the 32nd Division. He was engaged in the Battle of Meuse-Argonne in late 1918. At the war's end, his division served as part of the Army of Occupation in Germany. George is seen here in uniform with his son Arthur. On the side of Heidloff's Appliance is Dan, Clarence, and Ed Vaughn, who enlisted in the Navy in 1917. Dan was the eldest at 20, and Ed and Clarence, 19 and 17, grew up in the UP. Ed and Dan served as Navy yeomen with administrative duties. Clarence enlisted as an apprentice seaman. Dan and Ed are in the front row. Clarence is in the back row along with their sister Florence. On the Longworth building is Bill Bell, front row center, pictured with members of the 13th Railway Engineers from Chicago. On the McKinley Clock Tower complex is a picture of Edward Gaunt, who served as a private in the 328th Field Artillery. He is pictured here with a friend in France.
They were summoned from the hillside, they were called in from the glen, and the country found them ready at the stirring call for men. Let no tears add to their hardships as the soldiers pass along.